Hi, player 238 from Squid Games, The Challenge, Season 2, a.k.a. Mama Jeans. How are you doing? I hope you're doing well. You know, Squid Games has a special place in my heart because I was actually born in Seoul, South Korea. And there's so many fun memories. I'd like to share one with you today if that's okay. This this event took place in winter. And you have to understand, in Korea, the winters can be very harsh. And it can be so cold that if you leave a bowl of water outside, it'll easily become a bowl of ice. And so, it was a particularly cold winter. And back in the day, we didn't have running waters and a sink. We had water pumps. Yes, like the Waltons, right? Waltons of the 70s. And not only that, I think worse than that were the bathroom situations. Here, in the States, we have bathrooms and you can flush the toilets. Not so when I was a little girl in Seoul, South Korea. We actually had what are called outhouses. And some of you, if you perhaps grew up in the country, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Outhouses are kind of like a porta potty, but it's not made out of plastic. It's made out of like wood. And they're like these two planks of wood that you would have to straddle to do your business. and the human waste, you don't flush it away like you have with a toilet, right? And you get clean, bowl. It's like you would go to the bathroom and that waste collects over time. And guess how often they cleared that? Once a month. That means you would have to go in there, deal with the smell, the stench and everything for several weeks, for a month. And when the sanitation engineer came, I'd like to call him like the pooper scooper. He had a contraption, and it was like a broom, like a broomstick, and he would have it, and he would put it against his neck, and on the end of the pole would be two buckets, and so he'd be holding it, and he would dip it once. And then he'll get the, bucket filled with human excrement and waste. And then he dips it again and he'll put the, other bucket inside. And so the outhouses would be cleared. It'd be cleaned, that way emptied. And on this particular winter's day, the man who came to clean our outhouse, the pooper scooper, was in a particularly jolly mood. And he was whistling while he works. He was going, I don't remember what he was whistling, but I'm just whistling from, that. And so he's whistling and I'm watching him. And through my 5-year-old eyes, I'm thinking to myself, he's in too good of a mood. He's moving too fast. These are icy roads and icy streets. And he should not be moving fast. And so the man is, and whenever he, dips his bucket in, there's all this slosh of human excrement and it would drop. So the good pooper scoopers minimize the droppings. You know what I mean? Like it drips, the bucket drips as he leaves. And you don't want any droppings because you smell that all throughout the house and all the rooms and the courtyard and the temun, which is like the big gate, and even outside the big gate and in that neighborhood, you would smell the stench and you go, oh, so-and-so's house is being, emptied. They're cleaning the outhouse. So you would literally have to walk around like this. We would pinch our noses, but it was so gross. It was a terrible time. It's an unnecessary evil. It's like you had to get that cleaned once a month, emptied once a month. But this man, he was whistling while he worked, and he was almost like a dance kind of step. And I was going, oh my gosh, if he does that, he could And right there and then, oh my goodness, the inevitable. Boom, he missed a step. He slipped on the ice, and all of a sudden everything went slow motion. And the bucket went, oh, into the air, and it went, ah. It was like a plume of feces, like mushroom feces, that froze briefly in the air and then landed on the ground. Then you see the man's horrified face, and he goes, oh, because he knows where he's falling. He's falling toward the pail. He falls, and he gets feces on the side of his hair and his head and his neck. Oh. He's lying helplessly, and then he sees, the terrible tragedy. The second bucket flies. It's leaping in the air. And then all of a sudden, slow motion, it also falls with a mighty thump. Another plume of feces. Briefly, midair, her freezes and lands right next to him. He's so shocked. I'm shocked. My grandmother's shocked. My brother's shocked. The neighbors are shocked. We're all shocked, and we're all just kind of like staring at him. He's shocked. He's humiliated and embarrassed. He quickly gets up and picks up the pail, tries to scoop up more, but he's making more of a mess because it's freezing over, and he already spilled everything there, and he's trying to scoop up what's frozen. It doesn't work. And so in shame, he picked up his, buckets, and he lowered his head, and he kind of snuck away, apologizing profusely. And, the very next day we knew, because we would have to leap. We would have to jump over this mound of excrement, frozen right in front of our grandmother's house, and remained there for the longest time because it was winter time and it froze over. And even though Grandma tried to chip it away and get rid of it, there were still, there were still remnants of the situation. And we had to deal with that for a long time. So at the time it was gross, but it was also hilarious because it was unbelievable, but true. So what's my point of that? Be thankful. Even the smallest things like a running faucet. I hear that there's some countries where people don't have access to clean water. Unbelievable in 2025. And, flushing toilets. Things that we just go, it's just a flushing toilet. But, there are places and countries where people don't have the luxuries what we have, what we take for granted. And so I know as a little girl firsthand, because we used to use outhouses. And so that's the pooper scooper story. I hope you enjoyed that. And if you did, please subscribe. Tell your friends and family to follow Mama Jeans. And I'll chat with you later. Thank you for listening. Bye.